Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Easter, about 4 p.m. Eastern time, and we're in a rest area on our way to Wisconsin, and I figured I'd do a video that I get asked about pretty regularly, and that is the interior of the truck. My sleeper is pretty much what you see, so I'm not going to do it, but I get a lot of questions about this. All of this. So the biggest one being, what's that? That is my tablet. So just a tablet. It's on a holder. Suction cup to the dash. I use it for watching YouTube. And that is my e-log. As you can see, it's saying we got 6 hours left of drive time. And that's before I have to do my 30-minute break. But then we got the GPS, which I have a new GPS, and going with a bigger one. Just haven't gotten it put on yet, whatever you want to say, because I don't know exactly how I want to mount it, but it is the 10-inch screen OTR 1000, so we'll get to that here in a later video, I guess, at some point in time. CB radio, as you can see, I run a Striker SR655 HP. It's a good radio. It also changes color. That's the biggest reason I have it, because I like it to be red at night, and then I usually do something that resembles Bella during the day. It also has a dimmer, which is another feature that I pretty much have to have. So you can turn it down, turn it clear off at night. As you can see, I got it turned up a little bit there today. And then there's all of these. I know it looks like an airplane sometimes, but it's not all that complicated. We got headlight switches over here, headlights, parking. These are the yellow lights in the back of my cab, the work lights in the back of my cab. Well, they're not really work lights, but then these are the LED pods that I have mounted on the back side. Right there's the bolt for them. Man, it's trying to focus, but there you go. That's the bolt for them. They're mounted right, whoop, mounted back there. I'm doing this without editing it, by the way, because I'm just going to upload it straight from my phone. Then we got hazards, of course, dimmer, and this is my ignition. This is nothing more than a lug nut cover like I have out on the wheels over top of a plastic key. Turn signals. My wheel is a, as you can see, SCI 20-inch vintage style wheel. And this, I get asked about this a lot because you'll see me using it when I'm slowing down. That is the trailer brakes. Some people call it a trolley valve, hand valve, but it's a trailer hand valve. And then over here, as far as switches, we got diagnostics, engine fan, jake brake, and then the positions of the jake brake. This is for the lights on the floor, which I don't usually run them at night. This is for the auxiliary lights, the air cleaner lights, and the cabin sleeper lights, which are currently not working because they're blowing a fuse for some reason. I got a light shorted out somewhere and it's blowing a fuse. And then you got cruise control, on, off, and set and resume. And my resume does not work right now. I'm not exactly sure why, but the set does, so I still use it. Then you got rear AC, that's for the bunk, and then 2 spare switches I don't have hooked to anything. And then, of course, got the head unit. This normally is a single DIN, and these HVAC controls are down here in one hole or the other. But I cut the center bar out of there, and a double DIN fits in there almost perfectly. It's a little bit loose, and yes, my panel's a little worse for wear, but it is what it is. These panels, this panel right here is like 350 bucks last time I checked, and this one up here is like, I don't know, 400 or 500. So I just haven't done it. I'll probably do it after the truck's paid for at the end of this year. But anyway, I have this head unit, which as you can see is a DNX 571TR Kenwood Exelon. It has truck GPS on it, hence the TR. So When you go into it, it's just like Garmin GPS. It is Garmin GPS. So it just hasn't been updated, so I don't use it very often. That's why I use that one. So, and then it'll go back to it's a little dusty, needs wiped down. It'll go back, and as you can see, I have Sirius XM on it. I'm currently on Pop 2K. Gauge wise, got obviously tach, speedometer, voltmeter, coolant temperature, oil pressure, fuel, primary air, secondary air. I was thinking about the fuel, that's why I hesitated there. My gauge used to be 100% accurate, and then last year we had to replace the driver's side tank, and now anything below half a tank, it's not 100% accurate anymore. That's the parking light, and of course these are the idiot lights. This is just a chrome insert that kind of clicks in there, and as you can see, it's been wearing on that white paint. We'll come over here and do these. These are for hauling. These are my PTO takeoff switches. They used to be wired to my pump and air compressor for unloading the liquid tanks. I don't have either of them on the truck anymore. The compressor froze up, and the pump I took off because I never used it, and it adds weight. So, and you got your axle differential for locking in the axle diffs, which on a big truck, it's only opposite. Either left front, right rear, or left rear, right front. That's it. Then fifth wheel slide release, and then air suspension dump valve. That's to dump the airbags on the back. Then, like I said, I moved the HVAC controls. I put them in vertical because I didn't have a set of gauges there. Normally, I could have another set of 3 here, but this truck didn't come with them, and I don't really need 3 more gauges because I have plenty to monitor what I need to. So I just moved it up here and put a double din in there. And if you follow my community posts, you know I have a new head unit that I'm going to be either putting in there or up there, and then the radio will be, CB radio will be going down on the floor. So the other thing I get asked a lot is, how is the microphone here and the radio's there? Well, that would be this. That is a microphone extension found on eBay. CB radio microphone extension found on eBay. Comes coiled up just like a cord, or a microphone cord, and it runs out there to that pillar, and you can see it's tucked in between the 2 windshields, just like that is. Comes down and goes into the top of the dash. I drilled that hole, and all I did was get a hole saw, lean the drill out as far as I could, and drilled down in, and everything runs down there. And then it runs down, the microphone extension runs down, and comes out a hole in the bottom of that cup holder right there. Since I'm holding the camera, I'm not going to take it out, but that cup holder will pull right up out of there. And that is a piece of PVC that I use to keep bottles from falling out of there. You can get that at any it's thin wall PVC though. I think they use it for irrigation. It's thin wall PVC 3-inch connector. That's the only thing that'll fit in there. And then I hooked this up down here. You can see it's got 2 USBs, cigarette lighter, and I did the same thing here. My dad gave me this, replaced this second cigarette lighter down here with a USB plug. It's just 2 USB plugs, and then of course my cigarette lighter, which inverter's plugged into the little inverter. Alright, now let's finish up these gauges. Got oil temperature, obviously. Suspension load, that measures how much weight is on my drives. So like right now we're right about gross, and I know that just by how much pressure it has on the suspension gauge. Brake application, when you push the pedal, it tells you how much application you're doing. Air filter doesn't really work. I mean, it does, but I've had some pretty gross air filters, and this was not reading very far up, so I don't go by it. I just change them periodically. Trans temp, manifold pressure, which for those of you that don't know trucks, this is your boost. Pyrometer, which is your EGT's, exhaust gas temperatures. clock, front axle temp, rear axle temp, and an amp meter. When I first start the truck, this will come over to about 75, and it will eventually come back down. It's measuring the draw on the truck batteries. So there you have. Oh, and then this right here is a Wii boost. That is a cell phone booster. Works pretty good. Sometimes I have to throw it in there. And this is a wireless remote that I have Velcroed there. It is for those lights down there. I can change the color of those lights. So, and then right here poking out, if you see it, I got the HDMI and the USB to go into that thing. So, that's about it. That's my cell phone holder there, obviously, and I get asked a lot about that too. It's a Naztec. I think it's called Mag Buddy, if I'm not mistaken, in the truck stops. I get them at the TAs and Petros because that's where I have my driver's rewards at. That's where I get my discount at. That's my fuel card works there because I have my own fuel card. I don't use a company card. Real quick, I'll show you these two. Obviously, that's my Cobra camera, dash cam, and then that's the company's dash camera. So, yeah. Of course, Gopro mount. Got the other GoPro. This is the mount you guys see most of the time. I actually just put this one up here. I'm going to try using it a little bit more. Of course, my pre-pass is over there. You'll hear it sometimes in the videos when I pass the scale. But this is the one you see most of the time that looks right out, just like that. So, there you have it. That's the cab. That's my cockpit. Sometime I'll go through the sleeper, but I don't want to do it right now. I mainly just stopped to use the restroom and got a couple snacks and figured I'd do it and get an upload. I did an update the other day, but I haven't sat down and edited it. I was only at home for a couple days, and then we're headed to Wisconsin now, and I am recording. I have a bunch of recorded stuff. I just need to get it edited, and when I'm at home, I just haven't wanted to do it. So I apologize, guys. I've been enjoying the time off at home. So my dad is doing better. I actually just got a text message from my mom about him, and they're starting to wean him off the vent. They did a tracheotomy about a month ago, and they're weaning him off the vent now, so hopefully he'll be able to start the recovery process, because it's going to be a long road. But he's still here. He's still with us. He's kicking, alive and kicking. Mrs. Truck and Life and I, we decided to work things out. So we are doing that, making some changes to ourselves to help appease the other. That's a short story. And the square body, I think, is going to start getting worked on here sometime in the near future. I got a bunch of stuff I'd like to do to it, but I've just been waiting until this thing goes in the shop to do anything else. And this thing hasn't gone in the shop because we're waiting on parts. The Rona, whatever you want to call it, has caught up with level of supply, and a lot of people do not have parts on the shelf. So we're waiting on parts to come in. Found a bumper. The manufacturer of the fenders hadn't gotten back to the shop last time I talked to the shop, and most of the rest of it's just Peterbilt stuff we should be able to get off the shelf. So it'll be going in the shop, I'm hoping the end of this month, but I'm not holding my breath, because if all the parts aren't in, it's not going in the shop, because I don't want to be down any longer than I have to be. So that being said, there's your update. There's the walkthrough on cab of my truck and what all these gauges and buttons do. Keep a shiny sign up. Safe travels. See you in the next one.